The Brooklyn Nets are the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference with a record of 14-5. Even so, the Nets have been tremendously slept on, and my theory about it is there's been many storylines in the NBA this season, and no one has been paying attention much to the Brooklyn Nets, even though they are one of the best teams in the league this season. In today's video, we'll be talking about why you should be paying more attention to the Brooklyn Nets, so let's get right into it. The Nets lost in the Eastern Conference semifinals last season to the Milwaukee Bucks in 7 games after Kevin Durant's foot was barely on the line and it forced overtime and Chris Middleton hit a clutch shot to win the game. But Brooklyn wouldn't go down without a fight this season, even though there were some tough challenges that they had to face, including that Kyrie Irving would not be playing with them this season due to him not getting vaccinated for COVID-19.
Another challenge was that James Harden was having one of the worst seasons of his career in the start of the season because the NBA changed their rules with fouls and everything, and that made the Brooklyn Nets a very lackluster team in the beginning of the year. But they moved up in the standings even when they were the 10 seed in the East and are now the 1 seed respectively in the Eastern Conference. Kevin Durant is having another all-star year, averaging 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. Durant and Harden are carrying the team on their back this season. Sure, they have a lot of great veterans and role players like Blake Griffin, Patty Mills, Paul Millsap, and LaMarcus Aldridge, and they are all having great seasons for their age, but they are not a very great supporting cast, especially because all of those guys are over the age of 30. And here's my theory about the Brooklyn Nets. They are a better team without Kyrie Irving, because last year they were the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, and this year they are the 1 seed because James Harden and Kevin Durant have way better chemistry than Kyrie does. And even last season it felt like Kyrie was really the number 3 option. But with this Brooklyn Nets franchise, it'll be a really fun season considering they are the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. If they make the NBA Finals, they would potentially play the Golden State Warriors, Kevin Durant's former team. The Nets also have Joe Harris, who's one of the best shooters in the NBA, but he has not been having a great shooting season like he has in years past. Steve Nash is doing a great job of putting the Brooklyn Nets offense to life, and they are a team all about fast breaks. James Harden is having one of the best seasons of his career assists-wise, averaging 9 assists per game. And sure, he's not putting up the crazy stats he was a few years ago, as he was putting up 36 points a game for the Rockets, and this season he is only averaging 21 points per game, which is a 15 points per game decrease from a few seasons ago, but Harden is still a great player. But let's hear what Stephen A. Smith has to say about the Brooklyn Nets.
Now the Nets have rebounded to some degree. They're 13-5. They are first in the East. But Stephen A., does it feel real? Does it feel like the Nets are where they need to be?
Hell no. And why should it? There's no Kyrie Irving, number 1. Number 2, James Harden is leading the league in turnovers. Number 3, they're 2-5 against teams better than 500. They're 11-0 against teams 500 or worse, but they're 2-5 against teams above 500. That shows you something. So the bottom line is they're in the mix. They're relevant. We get it. But when you look at what you expected from them, they're nowhere near that. Kevin Durant is. No one else is. Patty Mills, give him some love. He's been balling.
He gave my brother Stephen A. some love on the Warriors. Let's talk about your Nets.
Yeah.
You said that this Nets team could win a championship.
Well, you know what? Don't
without Kyrie.
I corrected myself.
Yeah, you did.
All right, then. So what you bringing it up again for?
But as Stephen A. Smith just mentioned, I think a huge reason why the Brooklyn Nets are being slept on is because they have faced a lot of teams that are under 500 and have had a relatively easy schedule. And like he said as well, the Brooklyn Nets are 2-5 against teams that are over 500, which is a horrendous record. Those 5 losses losses are the only losses they have had this season, which means they are horrible against good teams. But somehow they have found a way to become the first seed in the Eastern Conference. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Click subscribe, turn notifications on, like, share, comment, all the good stuff. And as always, I'm your boy Hyper Hoover Basketball, and we're out.